What is a movie ending that makes you cry, no matter how many times you've watched it before? Everyone sounds like they have been emotionally abused by Pixar. I'm 36 years old and Pixar still ducks me up every time. I remember that light-hearted movie about toys with the incredible computer graphics. Those were the good old days, when I was young and innocent. I used to think the beginning of Up was overhyped in terms of sad factor, but ever since I've actually properly fallen in love with someone, oh man, that shit hits different and entirely too hard. I watched Up shortly after being told I would never be able to have children. The beginning of that movie destroyed me the first time I watched it. I just remember my then husband and I looking at each other with tears streaming down our faces. Thankfully doctors aren't always right and I have 2 minions running around my house now. But I still cry every time I watch Up because I feel the beginning of that movie. Edit, thank you for the awards. I didn't expect such a response. Hugs to all those that understand the struggle, and those that support couples experiencing infertility. It's a hard journey. The Iron Giant. You stay, I go. No following, goddamn. Superman. Can't hear him say that without tearing up. That final shot of Monsters Incorporated will always make me tear up. When Sully pokes his head in and we hear Boo say kitty. That's just such a great ending. Should I lose it when Mike shows Sully that he put the door back together? His hands. Man, his hands. I know it's supposed to be a throwaway joke, but dude. He went through some shit for his friend. Reading these comments makes me so glad that people also pick up on the little details and notice why it's so impactful. Back when I was a kid, I had no clue that Mike's hands showed how much of a great friend he was. Fox and the Hound. Copper, you're my very best friend. And you're mine too, Todd. And we'll always be friends forever. Won't we? Yeah, forever. Even just reading that got my feels going. The last few pages are for you, Sam. I will not say do not weep, for not all tears are an evil. Schindler's List, when Oscar laments about not being able to save one more person. I always cry at that part, and then later with the actual survivors mourning at his grave. And Liam Neeson placing the rose over his grave. Right. It's so touching. It's like Liam saying I am just an actor playing him, but he is a real. Ending of The Green Mile is pretty upsetting when John Coffey dies. Edit, thanks for all the awards and all of your comments, guys. This comment really blew up. I'm tired, boss. Tired of being on the road, lonely as sparrow in the rain. I'm tired of never having a buddy to be with, to tell me where we's going to, coming from or why. Mostly, I'm tired of people being ugly to each other. That speech was devastating. Rip Michael Clark Duncan. He was a great actor and could be both dramatic and hilarious. Green Mile was definitely his best work though. Big Fish, don't want to spoil it too much, but when everyone from The Dad's Tale show up at the end gets me every time. I cried so hard in the theater during that ending that I accidentally stayed through the credits till the lights came on for the cleanup crew. I was embarrassed but still sobbing, so I hid in the bathroom for another 20 minutes just trying to get a grip on my emotions enough to go outside and meet back up with my friends. Thankfully they were waiting patiently by the car and didn't tease me too much. It's so weird when you have that kind of reaction. You're like, wow, I must have really been holding in a lot of stuff. Coco. Every single time. Dunno why, but every time I watch the ending to Forrest Gump I burst into tears. For me it's when he finds out about his son and says, is he smart, or is he? I cry every single time. He was so self-aware. Oh my god, that film. It's so true. Duller people oftentimes know it. I had a friend during my stoner years who, by his own admission, wouldn't smoke with me because he was already dumb enough. Didn't stop him from being one of the funniest mother duckers alive though. Edit, putting this comment I made down the thread here because this is getting a lot of traction and it's my cake day. I do what I want. Hope you like the story. I always ate a snack-sized bag of his famous Amos cookies when I visited, and so for my early birthday, it was normally during the summer, he brought a fat box of them to school with a Sharpie struck out famous Amos anus in huge writing and gave them to me so we could go around school and ask if people wanted some of our famous anus. Needless to say, the box was empty by the end of the day. I was friends with a really good, hilarious kid with fetal alcohol syndrome that had to take special education classes, and he was very self-aware. Saving Private Ryan. Every time I see this movie I cry. Edit. Thank you everyone for the awards and upvotes. I never knew how many people also cried or teared up while watching this movie. I also want to say that if you know someone who served in World War II, go up and thank them or hug them. Just do something to acknowledge what they went through, especially with Veterans Day just a few days away. Oh yeah, this, tell me I'm a good man. That scene gets me. I'm usually on the verge of tears, and then when he turns and asks his wife that question, I lose it. He asks her so hard, you know what I mean? All that misery to save him, and did he honor them? He really needs to know. Hachi, A Dog's Tale. I bawl from about halfway until the end. I teared up a bit watching that Futurama episode that parodies it. Wall-E. The way it zooms out with the a whole life long, every damn time. Life is beautiful. The horror and brutality through the whole movie leaves me feeling cold, numb, and depressed. Then the boy cries out mama. At the very, very end, and the joy that mother must feel to find her child after all that brings all the buried emotions back up, and out comes a fountain of tears. About time. Edit. Thanks for the awards. This movie makes me weep every time, without fail. I wish everyone had a father like Bill Nighy's character in this film. Edit. Thank you for the award. So kind. Smile. He's an amazing father. He's not the best one, but he'll go and spend time with his son, and that's really all that matters. He can't see without his glasses, and I sob. Ada, the name of the movie is My Girl, 1991. I was 9 to 10 when this movie came out. The trailers made it look like a fun family movie. Then the kid dies in that funeral scene. Goddamn, that was rough. What Dreams May Come. Ikiru WDMC is a film about a man, Robin Williams, who dies and goes to heaven. His wife dies some time later and is sent to hell. He decides to find her. Ikiru is about a civil servant, Takashi Shimura, coming to terms with his own impending death, then accounts of his life at the funeral. Inside Out, the scene when Riley comes home at the end always gets me. The Land Before Time. When I first saw it as a kid, it was the first time that I realized that my parents could die. That thought had never even really occurred to me at that point. Even now as an adult, the scene where he thinks he sees her but it's just his shadow and the narrator says, "Then Littlefoot knew for certain he was alone," still gets to me every single time. I'm sure that movie will make me cry even more after my mom passes, because one of her nicknames for me is Littlefoot. Steel Magnolias. When they are all in the cemetery and Sally Field totally breaks down. She says something like, "I'm so mad I want to hit something," and they say hit Weezer, and it's this moment where you laugh but tears are streaming down your face. Edit. Wow. Thanks for the gold, kind Redditor. We all need some laughter through tears sometimes. Now everyone go and watch it. Happy Sunday. Edit 2. Weezer is the correct spelling. Thanks for the correction, fellow Redditor. The musicians' scenes from Titanic. Went to check the melody they played when the ship was sinking. I thought, this is ridiculous, why movies have to be so dramatic. Then the scene continued and there I was, crying as if I'd never before watched that movie. Gentlemen, it has been a privilege playing with you tonight. I can't even type it out without tearing up a bit. The violinist's body was recovered with his violin strapped to it. The instrument recently went on display. Coco. My grandfather had dementia and couldn't remember me the last time he saw me, but showed me the house of my grandparents where I basically grew up in like I was a visitor. I miss him so much. Mayo Papa. Homeward Bound. It was too far, he was just too old. The other scene is when they find the little girl in the woods and lead the family to her. Watching this as a parent to a similarly aged little girl gave me a whole new perspective on this, and I bawled my eyes out.